We're going to get started. This won't be long. I was going to do it a little earlier and I forgot about an appointment that I had. So we'll get started shortly. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. Shalom. All right. Oops. All right. Shalom. There we go. Wow. Shalom, everybody. Turn that down. Perfect. All right. I got right now 97 people. So when it hits over 100, there we go. It hit over 100 between both of my channels. And I think that's a good time to get started. Let's see here. All right, perfect. Let's see.
You gotta lose this guy.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. He'll kill both.
Turn the volume down. All right. All right. All right, y'all. The government and especially doctors and nurses have been complaining about PPE. And we have now heard these complaints forever now. It seems like it's been going on for several weeks. They've been begging for face masks and gloves and just the basics. And they seem to not be able to get these things. And it should be simple to get, but they have complicated this whole thing as far as masks and gloves are concerned. And I really feel for these medical professionals because many of them got families and children, and they don't want to take this stuff home. But as it stands, many of them are dying. I was looking at a website 2 days ago, and I think they said it was like over 9,000 medical professionals that have been infected with COVID-19. And I mean, that's a shame. That's a shame. That's an awful lot of people that are trying to care for other patients and they themselves are getting it. And it just seems to be all across the industry, whether it's at a hospital or, all of the nursing homes, the staff and the patients got coronavirus. So it's been a big problem. But did it really have to be a big problem? That's the question you must ask. Well, I want to thank one of my subscribers, Kim Moore, for the story that I'm about to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. This story came out in We Buy Black, April 16th, 2020. Government refuses to purchase masks from Black-owned company. So, do they really have a problem, or is this a bunch of BS? You got a company right here on your soil You don't have to go to China, and you can get this directly from them. So ground zero for COVID-19 is Chicago Cook County Jail. Hundreds of detainees, at least 200 correctional officers are currently infected. Prisoners, guards, and other first responders in Chicago are without personal protection equipment, gloves, masks, and the like, making the situation even more deadly. People are dying, even though a Black-owned company in Illinois literally has millions of masks available. The city, county, and state refuse to talk to the owner. So this owner has been trying to get in contact with them, and they are refusing his phone calls, refusing any contact with them. They got millions of masks. In fact, the governor of Illinois is spending $1.7 million on 2 flights to China in order to purchase masks there. Apparently, the governor would rather allow prisoners, guards, first responders, and hospital workers to die rather than to do business with a Black-owned company. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Wow. So, here we go again. We got disease and pestilence going on in the land, and these folks are still worried about race. Instead of, well, we got this readily available, and we can get this right now. Let's get it. No, they would rather fly thousands of miles away to China to get the mask. Dr. Willie Wilson, the founder of Omar Supplies. Let me see if I can get this picture. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get this picture so you can see this. Okay, let me just go on, and I'm going to show you a picture of this person. All right. Dr. Willie Wilson is the founder of Omar Medical Supplies. Since 1997, the company has distributed medical supplies like plastic gloves, and like with the distribution facility around the country. Each week, the company brings in millions of N95 masks. So they got masks readily available. Given that its corporate offices are in Illinois, the outbreak at Cook County Jail, and roughly 25,000 COVID-19 cases in the state, and the severe lack of PPE available to local hospitals, one would think Wilson's phone is ringing off the hook. Wilson's phone is ringing a lot, just not from the state, city, or county, according to Vantris Boyce. Boyce is the CEO of Boyce Enterprise and a consultant who works with Dr. Wilson. Boyce contends that Dr. Wilson has repeatedly called the mayor and the governor, but cannot receive a call back. For Boyce, a final straw was when Governor J.B. Pritzker spent $1.7 million in taxpayer money on 2 flights from China to bring back PPE. The challenge, if not refusal to do business with Black-owned companies, is not new. Illinois has a program to increase spending with minority-owned businesses. The Business Enterprise Program, Still White Women actually receive roughly twice the amount of dollars that Black men and women get combined from that program. Sadly, Illinois is not unique. The same drama plays out at the federal and even local levels across the country. Death and disasters, however, should motivate people in very different ways. People are dying, and yet Omar Medical Supplies can't get a call back. People are dying, and with each day that goes by, first responders are at risk, but still no callback. The crisis is bleeding state budgets, and yet the governor is spending millions in taxpayer dollars to bring in planes from China rather than receive a shipment from down the street. The question must be raised. Omar Medical Supplies is donating 100,000 masks to Cook County Jail, according to Boyce. The company has also donated to local hospitals. Dr. Wilson is doing what he can to save lives, but he'd also like to do what every other entrepreneur wants to do: sell to the government. To be sure, many more questions must be raised. If the government has a need severe enough to charter planes from China, why wouldn't they purchase from a local company? Surely there must be some mitigating factor as to why Dr. Wilson isn't receiving a call, right? Still, given the racist history of this country, logic and reason should never be assumed. All right, let me get this picture up of Dr. Willie Wilson. Hold on 1 second, and then I'll share my screen. Okay. All right, let me share my screen with you. Here he is right here, and he's standing in front of the boxes of masks, you know, and it just goes to show you, it makes you wonder, how much does this government really truly care about the people? Look at those boxes of masks. He got tons of them, and the government won't even call him back to do a deal with him, and the masks are right there in Chicago. You know, and it makes me wonder, how legitimate are these complaints about no mask, no gloves? Is this stuff even legitimate at this point? When you see a story like this, do we really have a shortage, or are they just nitpicking about who they purchase from? You know, there's no reason. If you've been crying, your nurses, your doctors, all screaming for PPE, and you got somebody right here in the country, and he says he's got millions of masks, millions of them. So is there really a problem, or are they playing games? So, you know, I hope this brother, if he don't get a deal with, maybe he can sell it to somebody outside of the US that will appreciate having all those masks. Maybe he should forget about contacting the US government, contact Canada, see if they'll take it. I would. I'd call Mexico, I'd call Canada, Europe, You don't have to sell to anybody in this country. You can sell overseas. You know? Now, this goes back to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And see, they really don't mean that stuff. They don't mean it. Because when one of us actually do try to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, they always got a little bag of tricks of where they actually don't want you to make it, and they'll rather look for ways to sabotage you. He's in Chicago. Now, in this article, it does not give his address, but he is in Chicago. You know, with that equipment, you know, he's just going to have to broaden his horizons and see if he can sell it elsewhere if the US don't want what's sitting right in their backyard. So, you know, you can clearly see they'd rather go around this black businessman and fly planes out to China where the whole damn mess that we're in got started and do business with them. You know, I would think, I tell you what, if I was running the nation and another country started a pandemic, I wouldn't go back to do no business with them. I'd find my business elsewhere. But so how angry is the US with China? You still purchasing from them. You know, that's what you're doing. You know, he should sell some of them online. I bet you if he took it online, people would be buying them out. People are they're buying those masks out. You know, I'm just thinking of other ways he could probably get rid of his inventory if he really wanted to. Put it online. Let the black community know what's out there. They'll buy it all. You know, I know people right now that are looking for masks. He can get rid of it if he really wants to. That's a damn shame. But look at where we are and look at how these people have acted for centuries. So I guess at the end of the day, we shouldn't be too surprised by this whole thing. Yeah, it's stupid. It really is. Yeah, you know, yeah. Um, hold on. Let me see if he is online. I'm not sure. Let's see here. He is Omar Medical Supplies. He is, but let me share this with you. He is online. Let me share this. This is the website that came up, Omar Inc. And Omar Supplies is 100% minority owned, SBA and MBE certified. Established in 1997, we are a distributor and direct importer of a variety of products, including gloves, can liners, protective clothing, towels, and tissues. Okay, yeah, so they've been around. It has a catalog here. Let's see. Medical supplies wipes out of stock. Let's see what he has here. He got it here, but there's no pricing or any way of buying it. But he got it here. Headquarters. Let's see what he got here. No, well, he got contact information. Yeah, he's on 4601 South Cottage Grove, Chicago, Illinois. That's where he's located. Thank Metho, Nelson. Thank you so much. Hate is their Achilles heel. You're right about that. Yeah, it just shows the mask, but it doesn't have any way to purchase it. So I guess you would have to call. They probably only do mass orders anyway. I doubt if they sell one mask at a time. Let me see here. OmarInc.com. But here's that's their website right there. Right there. Yeah, he can put them on eBay. He sure can. They'll sell out real fast over there as long as he's not price gouging. They would sell out real fast. Oh, he ran for mayor. Oh, okay. Okay. He ran for mayor against Rahm Emanuel. Ugh. Yeah, you would think that somebody would say something, especially if the hospitals need the supplies badly. And, I have been hearing them screaming for supplies now for several weeks now. And in fact, when they shut everything down, that was one of the first things that was coming out was the nurses and doctors were screaming about no mask and gloves. Then next thing you know, they start firing them if they were complaining. Yesterday, I saw some nurses out in front of a few hospitals protesting that they had to work with these highly contagious patients and they had no equipment. So, yeah, so much for being an advanced country and everybody got high IQs and all that stuff. Ooh, man. Well, look, this country is in bad shape and Trump wants to reopen it. And I'm telling you, it's not going to last. If they reopen this country in May, before we get to the end of the month, they're going to have to shut everything back down. They would have to constantly sterilize the workplace that these folks are in. It would have to be done the entire time they're working. And I just don't see companies putting out that kind of expense at all. And therefore, I don't see how it's going to work. Yeah, it said that in the article, Libra Justice, that he made donations to the local prison. Hell, if Illinois don't want it, contact another state. Can he call New York? I mean, they're having the worst time in the country. Call New York. See if you can get through to somebody in New York. That's what I'm serious. If Illinois don't want it, I would definitely sell it to another state, possibly. I would start with New York, since they're one of the worst states in the whole country when it comes down to COVID-19. They're in such a desperate state, they may take them up on that offer. Yeah, I have a lot of misgivings about these companies opening back up on May 1st. America is nowhere near ready. And I think it's going to unnecessarily kill people if this country is opened back. It's going to kill people. This is no joke. This thing is no joke. And then you have to ask yourself, are you going to die for your job? I mean, I know everybody needs an income and all, but are you going to die for your job? I mean, this shit is very contagious and he doesn't care. These people like Trump, they don't care. He's not putting himself in harm's way. But many of us down here, we are. You would. And when they go back, we'll always be the ones on the front line. Shoot, Trump supporters are out here screaming to open up the country. I said, let them go to work. Let them go. Yeah, well, I think it's for a lot of reasons. Number one, the country is really literally not making hardly any money now. It has a lot to do with money. And it also has to do with this is an election year. Politically, Trump is trying to make himself look as good as possible. But at whose expense? Okay, he's not going to be in your workplace near people that may be contagious. He won't be out there like that. But I really think it's all about money and it's all about politics. That's why he wants to reopen this country. It has nothing to do with caring about the people at all, because they don't. This is really a crazy decision. You made this decision at a time when it was a record-breaking amount of people that died. And then he stood there and lied and said there were no new cases in the country. That's a damn lie. Testing, and they were even saying that the other day, testing is still a problem. So how do you conclude that this is not, there's no new cases in the country? That just sounds asinine. I sound like, that's stupid. Stupid for anybody to believe that. But he stood at that podium yesterday when he gave his speech to reopen the country, and it was just all straight up lies. Oh, we flattened the curve. No, you didn't. Wow. It is insane. It is insane. It is what they will, SMAC, it is what they will do in order to get people out here. And they know damn well, number one, COVID-19 is incurable. Number two, Trump ain't going to do nothing. If a lot of people end up with it going back to work, he'll just stand there and say he takes no responsibility for it. Or he'll turn around and put it on the governors. He'll tell you reopening the country is the governor's fault. He'll just pass the buck. He ain't going to take no responsibility if people get sick and die from this stuff. He ain't going to do nothing but pass the buck, claim he had nothing to do with this and had nothing to do with that. I was looking at another article and it was like, where is the first lady? That woman never wanted to be first lady. She ain't thinking about this place. I don't even think she's in Washington, D.C. anymore. I wouldn't doubt if she went somewhere else. She's not even in Washington at all. She don't care. She never wanted it, and you can tell she still don't. She's not interested in being no first lady. Yeah, apparently they're still trying to get respirators from over in China too. I mean, I don't understand what that's all about. But hey, if you want to keep buying from the country that caused this whole thing, then have at it, I guess. At the end of the day, the US looks stupid. Man, I don't know what she's off doing. I know one thing she could care less about being a first lady. Very different from when Michelle Obama was first lady. You saw her all the time. Melania is like, where is she? Is she even in the country? I mean, really, is she even in the country? Nobody even, I haven't even seen a sighting of her. Well, I don't know if she's down in Mar-a-Lago, but I know they closed one of his hotels and he had to lay off the staff. I think Doral down there in Florida, he had to shut that down and lay off the people that were working at that hotel. But hey, look, the governor down in Florida is getting ready to open up the beaches again. So you'll have the crowds going down there and then end up sick like they did the last time. I mean, these people, woo, I guess having a high IQ also gives you a hard head, I guess. I don't know, y'all. All right, y'all. I know this is kind of a lot later than I usually get started, but I still wanted to do this tonight. So these folks in the government, they are full of crap. I don't believe they're trying very hard to get this equipment, you know. Yeah. Well, New York governor, he just extended their lockdown to the 15th of May. He said May 1st was just too soon, and he pushed it out to the 15th. We haven't heard from our governor yet, but I would not be surprised if he does the same thing, because the northern part of my state that's closest to New York, it's really bad up there. It's really bad. Mm-hmm. It sure does. A hard head makes a soft ass. That's right, Eleanor. It sure does. All right, everybody, wherever you are, you're always in my prayer. I pray for my family in the four corners of the earth every single day. May you all stay strong and healthy, keep those immune systems up, and may the Most High keep the biggest hedge of protection around each and every one of you. Shalom, family. Enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.